My first assignment as a priest was in Williamsburg, and when I got to Williamsburg, I started playing golf. Sort of. I was terrible at it. I was so bad, in fact, that there were some guys that I used to play with that got together and got me a series of lessons. During the lessons, the first thing they teach you is the grip. Because the grip is the most important part of your golf game. If your grip is off, nothing else matters. So I got taught the grip, and I was told to take a 7-iron and just take some swings. And after several swings, he'd say, check your grip. And then I'd swing a few more times, and he'd say, check your grip. And I'd swing a few more times, and he'd say, check your grip, over and over and over again, because you don't realize it, but your grip is shifting. When you keep on taking those swings, it shifts a little bit, and the trajectory of the ball changes. Everything changes. If your grip is not right, then nothing is right. I thought that I had completely gotten away from my addiction to the news cycles. I walked away from it and found myself to be much happier. And then Michael Cohen happened. And I found myself being drawn back into it. I listened to Michael Cohen. I listened from start to finish, as much of it as I could. And what really struck me about him was his opening statement. In his opening statement, he talked about his father, who was a Holocaust survivor. His father, who loved his mother and his children more than anything in the world. His father, who raised him to be a man of integrity, a man of honesty, a man of justice. He talked about all of those things, and then he said, I have told lies, but I am not a liar. I have cheated, but I am not a cheater. I look at Michael Cohen sometimes, and I say, there, but for the grace of God go I. Because I think the only thing that really separates Michael Cohen and me is opportunity. I never had the opportunity that he had to sell my integrity the way that he did. You know, the thing about integrity is that it's easier to keep than it is to get back. Integrity begins to erode little by little. He didn't wake up one day after having lived a life of honesty, a life of integrity, and decide on the cuff, hey, I think I'll lie to Congress under oath today. It was one step after another, little by little, piece by piece. Michael Cohen sold his integrity to a man who had no use for it. And Michael Cohen found himself in a trajectory that he never planned for. How different might his life had been if in the beginning somebody had reminded him, Michael, check your grip. Something is off. Our governor could have used that same advice. Our governor, who was found in a picture in either blackface or a KKK uniform, I don't think it's ever been established which one he was, though I think we believe that it was the blackface. But it doesn't really matter. His initial response to that was a response of utter integrity. I will own this. I will take responsibility for this, and I will apologize. And he did it, I thought, brilliantly. Because the truth is that where I stand today is not the result of a straight road. It's the result of a road with many turns, and some of those turns had dark alleys. But he turned back away from them through his life to stand where he is. And when he made his first announcement I could sympathize with him. But then he came out the next day, and he said something that was just so ludicrous, so ridiculous, that everyone is now questioning his integrity and his honesty. How different might that have been if somebody had reminded him before he went out the second time, Governor, check your grip. It's easy for us to look at people like Governor Northam and Michael Cohen and recognize their lack of integrity, recognize their lack of honesty. But Jesus warns his disciples, how can you remove a splinter in somebody's eye when you yourself have a beam? These are not opportunities for us to point fingers at how dishonest everybody else is. It is a cautionary tale for us to check our own grip. Because the truth is, who has never told a lie in order to get out of trouble? Oh, officer, I didn't know I was driving that fast. I'm late to work because I got stuck behind a train. Or my alarm didn't go off, when the truth is we know that we just hit the snooze button once too often. Who has not done that? That's the first step. And it's easy to do. It's the first step. What Jesus wants is for his disciples to constantly keep each other in the right trajectory. Because when our grip is right, then our swing can be right and the trajectory is true. We are going in the right direction when our grip is right. When our grip is off, everything is off. And our grip is Jesus. Our grip is the gospel. On Wednesday, we begin Lent, which is my favorite season of the year. I just love Lent. I can't wait for it. I love making a sacrifice out of love of Jesus. I love sacrificing, giving up something that I like, that I enjoy, but don't need, in order to provide myself with something that I need. Like more prayer time, like more contemplation on the mercy of God. It is a time when we are called to check our grip. And so let this Lenten sacrifice that we make, our Lenten practice, be a practice of checking our grip. Before we open our mouth to speak, check your grip. Is what you're about to say something that will serve the gospel of Jesus? Is what you are about to say something that will advance the cause of justice? Is what you're about to say something that will heal a heart or break a heart? Before we open our mouth and let our lips speak, let's check our grip. Before we go on the internet, check our grip. Before we decide where to go, what to do, or what to say, let's check our grip. It's easy for the grip to get out of alignment, and once it does, nothing else can ever be right. We're about to enter also, or we have entered, into the beginnings of a political voting season. Before you point a finger of hypocrisy at somebody else, check your own grip. How much hypocrisy is there in me? Before we point out the flaws of every other politician, let's look at the flaws of our own self. Let's look at what we are, who we are. Let's look where our grip has gone off key. Because it does. If you say that you protect the dignity of human life by opposing abortion, which I do, but you do not respect the dignity of human life of immigrants or people on the other side of a line, check your grip. If you say that we are a nation of laws, but are unbothered by the broken laws of our president, check your grip. if all you do is look for the flaws and faults of the opponents, check your grip. When we are firm, when we are steadfast in the work of Jesus, the rewards come. When we are firm and steadfast in checking our grip to make sure that everything we say is in line with the gospel of Jesus, then our trajectory is right. For the next 40 days of Lent, before you do anything, before you sit down to your taxes, before you open your mouth to your spouse or your children, before you go on the internet, before you get in the car and speak to that driver that just cut you off, for the next 40 days, check your grip.